G'day, Mick from Z Grills Australia here. Just want to provide a quick overview to the way our grease tray, and in particular our new vented grease tray, works. Now the vented grease tray introduced in late October 2021 for the 702B and 700 EXL grills. And the way it works is very, very simple. So now we're looking at normal operation when you want to have a fairly consistent temperature across your bottom and your top grill racks. So you have foil on your grease tray here. And so what happens is obviously the pellets feed into the fire pot burns, you've got the fan blowing air into the fire pot through various little holes, and the air is forced out, both left and right hand side underneath this baffle. And it comes up the rear, these little orange arrows, and the front, mostly left and right here, but also obviously here as well. And you've got radiant heat coming off, lots of radiant heat coming off the top of the baffle here, and obviously through the grease tray as well. So you have air blowing around with heat, and you've also got a little bit of radiant heat coming off the bottom of the grease tray as well. So when you're running in this mode, you do get fairly consistent temperatures across the grill rack, with the exception of the very front and rear edges, because you do have this hot air blowing up from below. So you don't want to have your meat right near the edges. A, it'll drip down and make a mess, and B, it will get will be exposed to a much hotter temperature. So air blows through and out the chimney, very, very straightforward. Now, if you want to do some higher temperature searing, what we've got with the vented grease tray, without having to take out the baffle or the grease tray, you can just leave the grease tray in like we have now, and you unfoil the left-hand part, which exposes these vents. Now what happens is the grill runs as normal, but now you've got a lot of this heat, and you do actually get a little bit more heat coming off towards the left. You've got heat coming up off this baffle here, this heat baffle. So you've got heat radiating off here. So you've got hot air flowing up here. You've got hot air coming out here. And through these holes, you have about 350 degree temperature, Celsius temperature heat coming up onto the underside of your cast iron hot plate kit like this. Or if you've got the grill rack in there, you've got a skillet up on top, a pan on top, you're able to get much higher temperatures than the normal operation, which would be about 230 degrees C, as we showed down below here, 230 throughout the grill rack. Here we can get 260, 70, 80, even up to 300 degrees C on this left-hand side. So perfect for doing that high temperature searing of a steak, for example. So a classic example of when you want to have this configuration is you take out this left grill rack here. We've got this left grill rack and right grill rack, so we can take up this left one out, and then we can drop in our BBQ plate kit, or our old style single large cast on barbecue plate will fit in perfectly as well. And then if you're doing a reverse sear steak, for example, you do your low and slow at 107 degrees C, 121 degrees C with your big piece of steak over here for maybe 45 minutes. Once the temperature's up to say 55, 56 degrees internal temperature, wrap it in a bit of foil, pull it off in a towel, and you crank your grill up to high. 10 minutes later, this is up to 200 plus degrees C, maybe wait till it's up to 240, 50, and then sear 1-2 minute either side, depending on what you want to do. So perfect for doing a reverse sear. If you're doing something like sausages, then you may actually find that doing snags on the grill rack, you actually potentially get a better result than trying to do them the traditional way. Because what you can do is you have your sausage here, you put a temperature probe up the middle of one of the sausages, and you monitor that with your Inkbird or your control on the left-hand side here. Once the temperature's up to say 75, 76 degrees C, indicating that the meat is ready, then you pull it off. It doesn't split open, you don't lose all the juices. If you do that on the cast iron plate, then obviously you're more likely to lose your juices. So doing sausages on the grill rack is actually probably better. But of course, if you want to do steak or you want to do hamburger patties, then you can do them obviously on that cast iron plate. So that's a little bit of an overview of how it works. So very, very simply, foil or unfoil. Just fold the foil back, or if you want to have two pieces of foil, totally up to you. But nice and simple to expose this area to much higher temperatures for searing. So hopefully that clarifies things. Any other questions, let us know. Cheers.